Hey! Welcome back to the podcast.
Welcome back.
This is Two Dudes Tuesdays. My name is Zach.
And I'm Ben.
And this is the only podcast that requires booster shots of all its employees.
All of them.
Yep. You boosted? Wait, have we checked this? Have we verified this?
Have you checked if I'm boosted? A booster?
Are you a booster or are you a buster?
I never got a booster.
Yeah.
I got the first shot and that was it.
We're out of compliance then, both of us.
Are we?
Well, we didn't get boosted.
Compliance with who?
This podcast requires it.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Our boss is going to be pissed.
What are we talking about today?
Oh, dude. What we're talking about.
I'm stoked.
We are essentially focusing on the worst of all time in Utah. So if you remember, a couple weeks ago, we did a podcast about the greatest of all time. The greatest athlete, restaurant, city,
Yeah,
a few things.
We covered it, several topics, yeah.
Yeah. And so now we decided we'd throw some shade. Point out Los Idiots.
The worst of the worst. Love it.
Yeah.
We had hamburgers was on that list.
Hamburgers was on that list, yeah.
I had one of the most, well, we can get into hamburger. Worst hamburger might be a good one to cover too.
Heck yeah.
If we hit the best, we got to hit the worst. So I had a pretty bad one the other day.
Yes. Now, we are trying to be kind, right?
Right.
We're not out to hurt anybody.
Exactly.
Hurt any of these poor hamburger chains.
We can have them remain nameless.
Okay. I think the worst hamburgers from McDonald's. Actually, no. Kurger Bing. Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Ew.
Man, but those breakfast sandwiches at Kurger Bing, I used to get those in high school. Man, they were good.
Yeah. Croissant witch.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, so we've got a list here, some things to cover. We are going to start with the worst restaurant experience. And this can be, I mean, it could be anything. Yeah, we're pretty open. Whatever. And it's tied to like the food and the restaurant. Like, because I've had some pretty gnarly experiences in restaurants that had nothing to do with the restaurant.
Okay. I have one that had everything to do with the restaurant.
Get it.
And it is now out of business, so I'm going to tell you exactly what it was.
Get it?
So back in high school, there was a place called Scoops.
Scoops?
I grew up in Taylorsville.
Yeah. Shout out T-ville.
T-ville. This restaurant, it was a buffet. It was like an all-you-can-eat in a strip mall in West Valley.
Okay.
Like, those three things combined might as well be like the Bermuda Triangle, right? It was
the Bermuda Triangle of E. coli.
You go in there and you're lucky to come out, right?
Okay.
So we go try this place called Scoops, and like very low cost. We go in there. I remember my older brother and some friends, and you sit down, you start eating this food, and it's like, my standard was really low back then, right?
Oh yeah.
I didn't care what I ate. If it had cheese on it, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, what was that pizza place we'd always eat at? It was like all you can eat.
Pizza pie. No, it was...
it's like Sitza Pizza or something.
Eats a pizza?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're like mid-meal, and I cut into this with a fork. I cut into this enchilada, and I take a bite, and there's something like non-edible chewy in that enchilada. And by the way, while all of this is going on, we can hear the cooks in the back, like, just goofing around. You could tell there were a couple, like, stoner teenagers back there just laughing about stuff, like, goofing around, throwing stuff at each other. And then if you picture, like the lunch lady from an Adam Sandler movie or something that he's done.
In Lunch Lady Land?
She was
Joe.
Yeah, right. She was at the front desk taking our payment, right?
Awesome.
So we were already in trouble. So I bite down on this enchilada, and then I pull something out of my teeth to see what it is.
No.
And it is a twist tie from like a, you'd get
bread.
on a bread.
Yeah.
a package of
That's
bread.
not as bad as it could be. That still
No, right.
sucks, but
Yeah, it was bad, but no, I'd much rather find that than like a hair, a big long hair, or
yeah.
the mind could go anywhere with
Mm-hmm.
that. And I was just like, oh my gosh, and I just immediately stopped eating and I was done.
Ugh.
So we leave. I somehow hold the food that I ate in my stomach the rest of the day, but I kid you not, within like days, you know how there's like Gephardt,
Yeah, get Gebhardt.
Gephardt,
Yeah.
he like approves businesses
Mm-hmm.
and. Well, they did a news story on some like places that you should probably avoid. And I kid you not, we saw scoops
Oh no.
on this story because like people went to the news about stuff
Yeah.
that was so bad.
Ugh.
And sure enough, Scoops was on there and then it was out of business so fast, which it should have been. That place was terrible.
Ew.
That was my bad restaurant experience.
Jeez. Nothing comes to me right off the bat, but what I did think of was my mother-in-law. This is a funny story. She went to Wingers. Shoot, I hope it's Wingers. I'm almost positive it's Wingers, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's Zingers. And at Zingers, she got a salad. And she stuck her fork in and pulled out a rubber glove.
Oh no, like a latex glove?
A full rubber glove.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I apologize, Zingers, if it's not you, but I'm pretty sure it was. But oh my gosh, when I heard that story, I laughed so hard.
There aren't very many Zingers around anymore.
No.
And I used to love that place.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, we used to get a lot for lunch. Okay, so that's funny. Also, there was a what it's not Beto's, it's the other one that's just like it.
Yeah, I feel like there's 5 like it.
Yeah, whatever. There's one right off the freeway right here, and there was a lady going through the drive-thru, and she looked in the window, and there was one of the employees there peeing into the drain in the middle of the kitchen floor, and it got shut down for like, I don't know, like 2 months or something like that.
Oh, jeez. This is somebody you knew witnessed it?
No, this was in the news.
It was in
like the, like, because it shut down, and everybody's like, what? Why it shut down?
Mm.
Anyway, okay, so so there's our worst restaurant experiences. And by the way, all of this is confined to Utah,
Mm-hmm.
Utah podcast. So there are other experiences we've had, but Utah. Okay, next one, let's talk about you pick one.
Let's see. Let's go with the worst type of bro.
Okay. Is there more than one?
They fit a mold, man. Like the worst type of bro is the same.
Yeah, which we've talked about, I think, before. Probably, so there's like a Provo All-Star, right? There's a sales bro, flat brim.
Explain Provo All-Star.
Oh gosh.
I feel like that may be very clear to you and me, but maybe not everyone else.
Yeah, so
Would it be synonymous with Zoob?
a Zoob? No.
See, I think it's different.
Yeah, different. So Provo All-Stars, like, I think of a Provo All-Star as like the wealthy kid who has everything going on and is like into everything, party pipeline, all about the ladies, all about the scene. I don't know, always ready to go, I guess. That's the Provo All-Star that I think of when I think of that term.
Gotcha.
Whereas a Zoob
used to wear like sweatbands.
and have star tattoos and loved Good Charlotte. Yeah, that to me is a Provo All-Star. Just a real cool guy.
Sounds like a male groupie.
Yeah. Whereas a Zoob is
Super cougar.
super
BYU.
Super BYU, yeah. And then a hippie is super U of U. Wait, what were we talking? Oh, worst type of bro.
Worst type of bro.
And then a sales bro, it's just the too cool to talk to you, too cool to shake your hand, bro. Unless he wants to sell you something.
I feel like I could put a lot of descriptors on the worst kind of bro, but I feel like if I do, maybe there's several people that I know that might have one of these descriptors, and I will hurt all of their feelings.
sadly enough, there are Provo All-Star, Zoob, and Sales Bros qualities that at one point or another, I'm sure I have mimicked or
Sure.
been guilty of. It's kind of like when I found that picture of me in high school where I was wearing an Affliction t-shirt and I had a puka shell necklace on and bleached tips.
Frosty tips.
Frosty tips. Now, tell me that isn't just your
Did you have an
horrible bro.
upside down backwards visor?
No, that was a Utah thing. I was in Denver. So.
Really? That wasn't anywhere else?
Well, it could have been. It could have been, but I guess it just wasn't in my school. So, I guess those are the worst types of bros. The thing about some of those bros though is sometimes they're the nicest people.
Yeah.
And sometimes like they're all in your face and they're loud and they are alphas, but they're like end up being like the kindest people. And then secondly, they know how to work. Right? A lot of times like those guys who are out selling and grinding like that, that's hard work.
Yeah.
I've never done it like that. I did on my mission essentially, but knocking doors constantly, but those guys know how to work.
The gift of the gab.
Yeah. Okay, so worst athlete to come out of Utah.
Worst athlete to come out of Utah.
And it doesn't have to be somebody. It's somebody that's like associated with Utah because it's kind of hard. Doesn't have to be like born and raised here,
Sure.
But it can be. Just has to be the worst.
The worst athlete. Do you have one ready? I'm not sure if I'm ready to fire from the hip on this one.
Oh, I got one. Grayson Allen.
Ooh, that's a good one, but
He only played for the Jazz
of
for
the
like a
Jazz.
year or two, right?
yeah.
I don't really think of him as Utah, but man, that guy.
That's
Holy
a
mackerel.
good one.
He was terrible. Terrible all around.
Personality-wise, right?
Yeah. And just would cry all the time and ugh. Anyway.
He fits a little bit of your definition of Provo All-Star. Like, I just picture him being a kid who came from a lot of money. Mm-hmm. He was like this spoiled brat kid.
Oh, had to be.
I honestly don't know about his past, but
Well, he's also a big dude.
but when he's put on some bulk.
Oh, yeah.
We saw him like a few weeks ago, a couple months ago. And yeah, he's stacked. But
He's plays in the NBA. Said the Jazz, yeah.
Basketball player. But his days at Duke, I mean, just go and Google, if you don't know who this is, Grayson Allen, Duke, baby,
Tool. Yeah.
crybaby. And you'll see a whole couple of hours of,
Well, not only that, but he would try and hurt people.
oh yeah.
He'd
well, that was
literally
the
try
thing.
and hurt them.
Cheap shots all the time.
Yeah, like kicking people's legs out.
Technical fouls all the time.
Yeah.
You just like throw fits like a little kid.
Oh, dude, what are we talking about? You already said it in warm-up. And when we're talking about this in warm-ups before. Worst athlete.
Worst athlete.
John Stockton.
Yeah. Yeah. The best and worst.
Yeah.
He was so good, but he was such a jerk. Tell him what happened to that game we went to.
I think I told this story, but me and you.
Oh, we did.
We went to a Jazz game. Little kid came up. I mean, we didn't even realize who was sitting in front of us.
During a timeout.
During a timeout, little kid comes up in front of us with a ball and a marker, and turns out John Stockton and Jerry Sloan were sitting right in front of us, and John Stockton's son.
Like we could have tapped him on the shoulder. He was like literally right in front of us.
Uh-huh. And John just puts his hand up and goes, "Nah, don't do that. I'm sorry."
It's like, yeah, something like,
And
I'm trying to enjoy the game.
yeah, and the kid is just like, "Oh, okay." And just turns around and walks away.
Yeah, he
But there's
paused and
million
sat there.
stories like that.
He was not good with the fans.
Yeah.
And I take issue with that, especially because like he was so good and did such great things just for the team, but with the fans, I mean, he's notoriously bad.
I also heard that Jim McMahon was a big tool.
Oh yeah. For sure.
I mean, that wasn't great that we associate that he was, because he was a BYU player.
I think part of that was that he went against the grain at BYU, and so he really stuck out. He was just kind of like a party boy.
Yeah. All those Provo parties.
Well, I don't know how he was getting around the honor code, but he was a partier and just, he'd trouble He
Yeah.
was trouble. He was hard to keep tame,
Yeah. Goober.
for that fan base.
All right. Worst company. What's the company that you hear about here in Utah and you're just like, oh gosh.
See, I don't know if I can say this one because I've seen good people go and work there
Well,
who I like.
just because they're, that doesn't mean the person. It's just the company.
I mean, Vivint is
Vivint.
definitely the one for me. Vivint, yeah.
Why?
Just because it ties to the bro culture.
Yeah.
And, hats off to anybody that can build a successful business like that, even if the culture, in my opinion, sucks.
Yeah.
They've done great things, created a ton of jobs. Man, I was even watching like a crime documentary the other day. It's funny that it's tied to a crime documentary. Some guy's being interviewed in it, and it's like you see a parking lot behind him, and then you see a Vivint smart home truck like in the background.
Nice.
And this is like in the Midwest,
Yeah.
So like, I mean, they've been super successful in that whatever Peterson
Todd.
guy, Todd Peterson.
One thing that I liked actually about him is I just I went past the hospital, the new children's hospital in Lehigh, and they have a whole wing that's called like the Todd Peterson something.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, whatever people's thoughts are on putting your name on buildings and stuff, but if you're going to donate money, donating to a kid's hospital is pretty cool.
That's cool. That's cool. I will tell you though, I had the opportunity to go to the Silicon Slopes Awards one year. The CFO of my company won CFO of the year.
Oh, nice.
At that specific one, and so there was a group of us at a table. Todd Peterson spoke, Ryan Smith spoke, and man, like I know those guys are like the big wigs that kind of have influenced the whole thing, the Silicon Slopes thing.
Mm-hmm.
But man, it was just like it was unbearable.
Yeah.
It was unbearable how much they were like. There was a bromance between the two. They were just talking each other up, and it was like, dude, everybody in this room knows you guys, what you've done, and how much you're worth. Like, stop talking about yourselves. Like, let's move on.
Yeah.
And it was like I wanted to vomit.
That group does seem to kind of control things. I mean, especially Ryan, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the dude owns everything.
And yeah, to your point, like they've done obviously great things that have benefited a lot of people, and they're continuing to do that. But it's I don't care for the culture.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. So if I say the worst company that I think, it is whatever company sponsors this new Secret Lives of Mormon Wives show. Whoever did that, face punches, because that was the worst thing I've ever seen. It was terrible.
It's a good one.
And it was just like, dude, stop exploiting the people here. And I don't know. I just didn't like it. And it was dumb. I couldn't even make it through the second episode.
Lifetime or whatever broadcast.
I think it was a Netflix special, wasn't it?
Was it?
No, because it was on Hulu.
Am I thinking of what's the other atrocious series that?
Real Housewives?
Yeah.
Dude, Real
Of Salt
Housewives
Lake
is
City.
funny. They're so crazy.
I'm sure it is with the drama. Like, there's plenty of that.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing is, the Real Lives of Mormon Wives didn't even. It was boring. It wasn't entertaining. It was nothing. It was just dumb. But whatever.
I have an honorable mention for that.
Okay.
Recent news release. I don't remember which company, but there's a major Utah plumbing / electric company. You know, when you think of like Any Hour or, there's these big companies. It might have been them. I have to go back and look at the article, but just recently they lost a lawsuit because there were like 12 electricians who were, basically taking advantage of customers, like charging them for stuff that they didn't need. Ugh. It's one of those areas that people know so little about, and they need somebody with technical expertise, like a mechanic.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were just being taken advantage of.
Ugh.
And they were working together to do it. And so it was just shady.
You don't know who it was? That's one I want to throw out there.
I feel like it was Any Hour. I'm going to look it up.
They're pretty big though, aren't they?
Yeah, it was a big one. It was a big Utah. At least I always thought Utah was.
Another worst company, I'm actually not going to say, but what I will say is that the CEO, who used to live by me, just got put in prison for inappropriate actions with a minor and grooming.
No,
Yeah. So just put his whole company on blast.
that's terrible.
Yeah. He's going to prison for a while.
It's unfortunate because there are definitely leaders like the Entrada guy with his anti-Semitism comments, anti-Semitic comments, and like what he did to that brand as a result. You know?
Yeah. So many good people there.
Terrible.
Yeah. The Entrada CEO sent out an email all about how the Jews are responsible for all these bad things. And he went nuts one day.
I apologize. Any hour. It was Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric.
Oh, Action Plumbing, Heating and Air.
So there, it's out there. It was January 16th is when it was, Department of Commerce.
Well, see,
announced.
we love Any Hour.
We do.
I mean, they're phenomenal. They're our sponsor, actually.
Excellent.
We suggest them to everybody.
Their technicians wear the little booties over their shoes when they come into your house.
Yes.
So,
And if the 3 people listening need an electrician, we suggest Any Hour. Stamp.
did you hear that, Mom?
Yeah. Mom, and Uncle Marv. Shout out Uncle Marv.
What up, MAGA?
And Tony Fino. Because he listens for sure. Okay, worst. Let's say we've got worst person. The worst person you know might be that CEO I just talked about.
Yeah, jeez.
Worst person you know to come out of Utah or to be in Utah.
I don't know if I'm ready for this one. What is your worst person?
Well, so I think it's better to do like a worst person that we know, right? That we had like a personal, because otherwise you could say like, what, Ted Bundy? Didn't he live
Yeah.
live here somewhere?
He had a couple victims here in Utah, yeah.
Yeah, so I would say the worst person that I met was, or the worst person that I know.
What about the Provo All-Star?
Yeah, that guy was pretty bad,
He
but
was so bad.
he was nice sometimes.
Well, good. He has a soul.
I would say the worst person would be everybody working at the IRS. Oh, okay. My worst person is my first pool guy.
Ooh.
Because he straight scammed me, took a whole bunch of money from me, and rode away into the bankruptcy sunlight. The bankruptcy
Sunset.
sunset. Thank you. I couldn't think of that. Yeah, so the first guy who came and worked on our pool took a bunch of money, did nothing, dug a hole, and then the hole collapsed, and then he disappeared for a while. And as I got to know more about him, found out he was a total crook, thief, had done this to a few people, and had just a terrible past. And he was just, he took advantage of me. I didn't like it. And because Utah is so pro-builder, it's just impossible to do anything. So, yeah, lost a bunch of money because of that pool guy.
Incredibly frustrating.
Yeah.
Did it sunset his business also, hopefully?
Well,
But he'll probably just claim bankruptcy and start another one, right?
Oh, yeah.
Under a different name, same process.
Well, so what I found out was that he was actually using Social Security numbers of his employees. So he'd bring in on an employee, use their Social Security number to start another company, another S Corp, and then just be like, oh, we got to do this, and I'll share the money with you, blah, blah, you know? Because his company was already had a whole bunch of lawsuits against it.
I've heard of a few of construction-related mishaps. I have a buddy that I worked with that built a home, and same thing. He ended up trying to take him to court to recoup some of the money, but
Dude.
they just file bankruptcy and start again.
Yeah.
With these shady, it's like they're running a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah?
And these guys will float the money that you give them, and then as long as they're starting new jobs and winning bids, then the work goes so slow and nobody will go after them.
Well, and pool guys are especially bad because a couple years ago, the hurdle of becoming a licensed pool guy went away. Like anybody could be a pool guy. Like landscapers, they all got in the pool business. And then they just sub out all of the difficult parts. So, and because of the work they do, they have you pay in chunks, and you pay a big chunk up front. I don't know if that's everybody, but that's all the people, I worked with. Luckily, my second pool guy was a total stud.
There you go.
And he did a great job, and he came flying into the rescue.
Weren't we going to interview him?
Oh, yeah, because he's got all that. Yes, he's got all that cool story.
We need to try to have him on.
He had a pool collapse on top of him, and he almost died, but he dug himself out. Dude is just a total stud. So if we can get him on here, his name's Luke. I don't know what his company's called. Oh, Advantage Pool Consulting. That's his email anyway. But
nice.
Yeah, if you need a pool guy, you let me know, because I will connect you with Luke, and he is a baller.
There you go.
Dude doesn't even do any advertising. He literally is word of mouth. That's when you know that you're a baller at what you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Somebody that I've personally dealt with, it's kind of hard to come up with, but I think it'd be along the same lines of someone who's just shady, deceitful, took advantage. I've already shared this story, so I'll say it in 10 seconds, but I had a realtor who took us into a house that was in a place that we were never considering. But this realtor was both the buy side and the sell side realtor.
Yeah.
And when we walked in, the realtor mentioned, the first thing you'll notice in here is that it smells good.
Trying to cover up the
and
pee
it smelled
smell.
like candles covering cat pee.
Oh.
And that's what it was.
Yeah, that's why you should have only worked with Sam.
Yeah.
Shout out Sam Willis.
I wish I had known Sam at the time.
Sam is somebody we interviewed a couple months back.
Right.
Been a buddy of mine for a long time.
But I was trying to avoid urine smells in the house.
Why?
And
isn't that an added benefit?
Sam was known for peeing his pants on the job, right?
Yeah, he did pee his
That's still one of the best stories I have ever heard. Shout out Sam. Go back to the episode about Zach and Ben buy a house.
Yeah, shout out pee pants.
Sam Willis tells one of the greatest stories of all time. Love that guy.
That is a really good story.
Look him up. Awesome realtor too.
Yeah, he works for Better Homes and Garden.
Oh, cool.
That's the real estate company. They actually just got a new office in American Fork.
Sweet.
Yeah, he's a stud. I went to dinner with him on Friday.
Aw.
Shout out Wasabi.
Thanks for the invite, D-bags.
Yeah, it was Wasabi and Draper, best sushi in Utah.
Oh, why wasn't sushi on the GOAT list? We should have gone through
it's just so clear that it's wasabi then.
Most people know that already.
Yes. All right. Okay, worst location. Think of just the worst place that you do not want to be ever in Utah.
One of my favorite places to be in spring and fall, probably winter too, although I love the snow, love the seasons, is St. George.
Oh, yeah.
I think my least favorite place to be in the middle of summer is St. George, especially without a swimming pool. I do not like the heat. I can't hack it. Can't hack the heat. That place is ridiculously hot in the summer. I don't know how people golf and do 18 holes in 105, 110 degree weather.
They have lots of pools
in the summer. But yeah, that's what I was saying. You have to have a pool. If you don't have a pool there, forget about it in the summer. Good air conditioning.
Uh-huh.
One of the places that I like a lot can also be at a certain time and in certain conditions one of the worst places.
Okay. The bathroom?
Hot shower versus, yeah. But another one that I thought of is, and my dad used to take us here all the time. I have great memories. Loved it. We did some scouting there, some camping there. He loves it all the time.
Antelope Island.
Yes.
Yes.
Nicely done.
Yes, I knew that was what you're saying.
The reason why it can be one of the worst is there at certain times, first of all, the sulfur smell of the Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Number 2, and probably the biggest factor, the bugs.
Oh, really?
We did some mountain biking there one time, and I thought I was gonna die. Like, they are just swarming you.
Really?
There's those, not mayflies. What are they called? They're brine, the larva, the brine flies.
Okay.
And they are everywhere. Like, the Planet Earth documentary?
Mm-hmm.
They did a section on the Great Salt Lake.
Oh.
Because of the spawning of these brine flies.
I did not know that.
And the seagulls feeding on them and stuff.
Do they bite? They don't bite.
I don't know, but there's enough mosquitoes there too that will bite.
Mosquitoes are my least favorite thing on this planet.
It's terrible.
They're the worst of the worst.
But there is fun recreation on that island and great camping.
There's no trees though, right? It's all bushes.
No trees. No trees.
How do you like camping in no trees?
I don't know. There's like rock formations and hills, and it is an island that jets up out of the water pretty quick. So.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
If I'm going to say my worst spot, I have decided to say Wendover.
That's a good one.
I have been to Wendover twice, and it is just a hole. Just terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing good about it at all, except for maybe the people that work there and live there. Shout out, love you.
What if you would have won money instead of lost money? Would it have been the best place?
Didn't happen.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that place is just, I don't ever want to be there, ever. At least, even in like Vegas, it's like, there's lots to do and it's fun and, well, it can be fun, but Wendover is just sad.
Yep.
Don't like that place.
Like the C-list bands go there to
great.
have a little concert, right?
Also, I'm an idiot because I'm just realizing it's not in Utah.
It is. It's on the border.
It's after the border because you can't gamble in Utah.
Well, that's why Wendover is. You have to go to the Nevada side of Wendover, but from my understanding, it's on the border.
Oh, really? Like half of it's in?
Half of it is Utah. Half of it is Nevada.
I knew it was right on the border, but I didn't know if it
wrong.
was in both. Let's just say it's the worst anyway.
Sure. Yep.
Okay. Wait. The zoo at Lagoon.
The train ride?
Yes. Even if
Okay.
you're an animal, you do not want to be there. That place is
They do
horrible.
look pretty miserable, don't they?
Yeah. That is a sad, sad place.
Man, Lagoon in general, just because of how many people there are per square inch,
Yeah.
it's pretty miserable.
How many sweaty stinks.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, we're about there, my man.
Any others we want to finish up on?
I don't really think so. I mean, the only other thing we have is the worst school, which, we don't have to do that one.
Because it's so obvious.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the worst, we had the worst famous person.
The worst fun place?
The worst fun place?
That was on our list.
The Lagoon Zoo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good example.
Yeah. Or the Provo Trafalgar right before it closed.
Yeah.
Or the Fun Dome when you were getting shot.
Oh, man. Yeah, there was a shooting there, huh?
Yeah. Those places weren't great.
The worst mall?
Valley Fair. Actually, Valley Fair's gotten a lot better.
Now
right?
it's yeah, they've cleaned it up quite a bit. But it used to always be in the news for stabbings and like, seriously, stabbings and like robbery.
Yeah.
Or, is that the term? You steal a purse? Purse snatching?
Yeah, that place. Yeah, but it has gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
Now Southtown, I would say, is the worst, but they just built the new Utah Hockey Club training facility in there.
I saw that.
And a Macy's.
Where the Macy's was, yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that there's a lot of, this is a difficult subject because Utah is dope.
Should we mention the worst podcast?
Any podcast that's not this one.
That's not Two Dudes Tuesdays.
Yeah.
We shouldn't mention that.
No.
Cut that.
Yeah, cut that. We got the best podcast ever.
That's right.
The goats.
The goats.
Well, it's been fun. Hope you liked it. If you have any thoughts on what's worse than the stuff we mentioned, let us know. Wait, we never said worst burger.
Worst burger?
Oh, I guess we did. Burger King.
Yeah.
Burger King is horrid.
Pretty bad. Yep. Burger King.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say the restaurant, but I had an experience last week that was like, I was so stoked for this burger. Just reading it off the menu and the reviews that the restaurant had. It's in Springville. And then my burger was like 9 out of 10 cooked.
Yeah.
It was burger jerky.
Yeah. Berkey.
And everything else on the burger was good. But the Berkey was terrible.
I had a buffalo burger in Park City a little bit ago. It was pretty dang good.
It was good, huh?
It's interesting. Buffalo burgers.
You got to get the burger right in a burger. If you don't, it's ruined.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us this week on the W.O.A.T.S, the worst of all time in Utah.
Yeah.
Go back and check out our goats episode if you haven't heard that one yet. That's a goodie.
And if you want to be on the podcast, let us know. We're taking anybody.
Yeah, just email Tony Finau. He'll pass word along. He's helping.
He kind of manages our day to day
administrative stuff on the podcast. Thanks again for joining, and if we don't see you,
good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Bow, 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 bow.